Now, I know it might sound crazy, but the first thing that you need to do to be an organized person before 8 a.m. in the morning actually starts the night before, which technically is before 8 a.m. But anyway, it's to do a quick tidy up. Now, I like to start by tidying up my kitchen. I play a little bit of dishwasher Tetris because only I can perfectly load the dishwasher, let's be clear. No, that's not true. Now, my kids, they actually clean up the kitchen in the evening. They are both teenagers and one of them is out of the house. So there's actually two are home. And now my two teen boys that are at home, they clean the kitchen after dinner. They don't do an amazing job, but they do a job. So I like to make sure that the kitchen is totally clean because I like to come down in the morning to a blank canvas, a nice clean dishwasher. I make sure I fill up my kettle so that when I come down, my water is ready to go because I have a really awesome on-demand kettle. Another thing I do is what Diane in Denmark calls poopa. Pick up and put away. I will fold any towels that are still out from the laundry and put that away. I will fold any blankets and just putting away things, picking them up, encouraging the family to do that. I have an alarm on my phone for 7 p.m. for people to pick up their stuff and put it away. And I also need to make sure that anything that gets left behind gets picked up and put away so that the house is tidy when I come down in the morning. This is a good way to start the day. You still might end up with a pile of socks randomly on the coffee table for some reason. That's just teenagers for you. Now, one of the things that really I struggled with for a really long time in the morning was hitting the snooze button. And this was a problem for a couple of reasons. The first reason was, even though I would even sort of account for that, like I would set my clock ahead of time so I could hit the snooze button, I still inevitably would just decide to continue to hit the snooze button, and then I would end up putting myself behind, which is just a terrible, frazzled way to start the day. I actually slept in a couple of weeks ago. I forgot to turn the alarm on. I was so bummed out because it just tainted the entire day, and it was just such a bummer. Now, there's a book I read called Why We Sleep, I think, by Matthew Walker, who's a sleep scientist, and he actually explained that when we hit snooze, we fall back asleep in a deeper sleep than we were before. Just ignore my cat meowing. And so then when we wake up after the snooze alarm goes off, we're like, it's even harder, like you're even tireder and you feel even worse. So then you continue to do it and you just feel worse and worse and worse. I try to explain this to my teenagers. They don't get it. And it's just like, it is what it is. I'm not going to say I don't ever hit the snooze button. I used to be so much worse. I'm a lot better now. Not hitting the snooze button, just like getting up. And one of the things that I do is I keep my phone, which is my alarm. This other one that I'm holding up is just my clock. It doesn't work as well. But I keep it in the corner and it makes me actually have to get out of bed. And I am tempted and I occasionally get back in bed, but almost always I just am up for the day, which is handy. Now, another thing is making the bed. Now, I know you might be like, oh my gosh, are you serious? No, the reason why this is so great is because it is a sense of accomplishment for the beginning of the day. Now, I don't know about you, but only briefly did I encourage my kids to make their beds when they were little. Let me know in the comments. And it's the same for me when I was growing up. My parents did not make us make our bed. And I think my mom made her bed a lot of the time. But for me, ever since I started making my own bed, it just feels so nice because it truly is just like something that I have done. Even if I'm having like a random, because life is so busy, but a random lazy day, if I have made my bed, I feel good. If I haven't made my bed, which happens, then I don't feel as good. If I come into the room, I'm like, ugh, the bed's not made. It feels good to walk through the room and just see that it feels tidier. It is tidier. And when you go to bed at night, I think it just feels better to get into a made bed. Is it just me? Is it just me? You let me know. Another big one is drinking a lot of tea. Tea is very healthy and you should drink all of it. Okay, well, let's maybe just replace that with water. Actually, water is something that we need to drink a lot of. Now, organized people probably drink a lot of water. For me, if you consider me organized, I feel like the first thing I do in the morning, the first thing I drink is water, and then I have tea, because I've gone all night without drinking any water. And your kidneys are working all night, they're filling up your bladder with concentrated urine, and you need to refresh your bloodstream with some water. So drinking a glass of water in the morning, and you can keep drinking water throughout the day, because it just makes sure you have so much more energy. Quite often, when we're feeling like groggy and lazy, and we're just like, ugh, I don't feel like doing anything, a lot of the time we're dehydrated. Plus, dehydration makes so many things harder in your body. It makes it harder for muscles to heal. It just makes it harder to think. It makes more headaches. So drinking a little bit more water is so good for you. And then you can drink a lot more tea, because tea is really, really delicious. Another thing I do, which I am absolutely obsessed with, is I review my to-do list. Now, forever, I hated lists. Now, the reason why this will help you to be super organized is because, I don't know about you, but I will like walk around and be like, oh gosh, have I done this? Have I done that? Do I remember this? Do I remember that? If I add it to my to-do list, which is in my planner, and I love this planner, I will link it below. I have used it for years, and you can customize it. It's perfect. But what I will do is I will just add things in to my list. And I will actually open up my planner quite often. And, you know, like if today's Monday, I will add things to next week's Monday. And then I already am not behind, because there's a plan. That's a way of being organized. I will also, the night before, review what is on the docket for the following day. And what's great about that is, as a person with ADHD and as a mom and a woman with like a million things to keep in my mental to-do list, as the minimal mom calls it, is then it's out on paper. I don't have to remember it anymore. So what's great is I can just look at my to-do list for the day in the morning, and I can be like, okay, like I need to do these things. And I used to add like so many things. Now I try to just put like the main priorities and maybe a couple of sub priorities. Then you can get that stuff done. It's like you just can be kind of like a little more automatic, a little bit more like a robot. And don't we all want to be like a robot? Okay, so then you have your to-do list. Another thing that I love is practicing mindfulness or meditation in the morning. Now, sometimes I will get up and I will just sit and I will meditate. I will read my Bible. Right now I'm really into reading the Bible in the morning, and then it just gives me that quiet time, because then what I can do, if there's anything that requires focus that I can do next, I will do it, because I am so focused in the morning. It's like if you have a pond in the morning, it's clear, the surface, you can look down at the water, you can see the ripple, you can feel like the fresh air on your face, and you can see that water is undisturbed. That's your mind in the morning. As the day goes on, there's little fish swimming around, maybe a kid throws a rock in that pond, that water gets all mixed up, and then it's hard to focus. We can't quite have that clarity that we have in the morning. So if we want to be clear, if maybe we want to practice that mindfulness, that meditation, get a clear idea of what we want to do for the day, the week, the month, our life, we can do that and rely on our to-do list. That's a little bonus tip for you right there. And maybe you want a decluttered home. Then you're going to need these 5 super easy tips to declutter more, because you're going to be more organized and you're going to have a decluttered home. Now, I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.